Hi guys, it's Kelly here, back with another video. Today we are using the some products from Wplus9. So the Crew Garden Club, the Friends for All Seasons Summer and Fall. Why am I using these besides the fact that they are completely adorable? Because Wplus9 is having a flash sale this weekend. So this video is going up a little bit late because allergies, which I'm sure that you're going to pick up on before this voiceover is over, but anyway, so it's through September 9th. The both the stamps and the dies are 25% off, which basically makes the stamp set roughly $11 and the dies around, I think, 10. So it's a pretty good deal. They all intermingle with each other really nicely. The spring has a panda and the winter has a fox. And then I used the bear and the dog here. I had to stamp them twice because I didn't get good pressure on that little dog foot. Can you see? He doesn't have a foot. He's footless. So I just wanted to do something that was super quick and simple. The entire card in real life actually took me about 30 minutes, if you can even believe that. This is the only masking that I did, which was to get the leaves into the wagon. The wagon is from the Garden Club, which I love those little girls. And when I pulled it out, I was like, why don't I use this more? I don't know why I don't. I'm going to make a conscious effort to try to use it. I have some Eclipse masking paper here, and I'm just freehanding a hill because I'm not even masking these little guys. I'm going to do a very soft Distress ink background, and I'm just going to go right over my little characters. That's what I'm doing. I got two colors. Everything's pretty much two colors for this particular card. So I am working around the images that I have stamped, but not completely. Some of the salty ocean is going to get on my kite. It is going to get on my little puppy dog. But when you're doing a card like this, where, you're like me and you're feeling lazy and you don't want to do the masking, you just need to be conscientious of the colors that you're going to pick. As long as your coloring will cover it, it doesn't matter. So I have both the negative and the positive piece of that hill, and I'm just basically coming down from the top for this one, and there's going to be some lighter areas where I don't get as much ink, and it's still fine. It doesn't look weird or bizarre or any of those things. So I'm using the other piece of the masking here, and here I did go to light-handed. I'm going to be straight up honest with you. I was trying to avoid my little bear there and the wagon. I did go too light because in order for it to look like it's set behind the other hill, it needs to have some darkness to it. Adding that mowed lawn just to the front there, and again, didn't take it all the way up because I want there to be some lightness on the top of the hill since it is a one layer card. I had to put this mask back down. I had to do it. Sometimes you have to, so I could add some of the darkness in. And like I said, I'm being conscientious to try not to completely cover them up, but there are some areas in which I am going right over them, and it's fine. I'm going to blend out this hill now because now it looks really stark white. I'm just going to add in some of that green. And then in order to tie in this kite to my little doggy up there, I just used an EK Success journaling pen and did a little loop around his hand. I wanted it to look like they were kind of waving at each other. So this is funny. I'm adding in some grass as well. Darker grass towards the bottom of the hill so it looks shadowed and it sets it behind. But anyway, when I was doing this, my original game plan was I think it's the summer set. There is a sentiment that says you're pretty much the best friend ever. And that was the one that I was going to use. And then as I was doing this, I realized that it kind of looked like one of my little characters was doing work and the other one was totally playing. And that's not a very nice friend, right? A friend would help a friend. Which reminds me a lot, this is funny, of my sister. So anyway, I'm going to add in a shadow underneath them. The one up top on the hill looked pretty dark, so I ended up going over and doing a little bit of grasses kind of where he was standing just to kind of blend in that shadow, and that worked out well. So when I was growing up, my sister and I had chores. That was one of the things that we did, and we were lucky enough that our parents gave us an allowance for that. So then Friday night would come, as long as you did your chores, they'd give you your $5 and you could go to like the skate station or to the movies or whatever thing that you were doing. But our chores kind of switched on and off. So like one week you might be responsible for doing the kitchen, the family room, and then the other person would be responsible for doing like the living room and the bathrooms. Like typically you didn't get the kitchen and the bathrooms together because it was a lot. So my sister, this is how I was so naive and she was so good. One thing to note on this card. So you can see here, I picked 3 different things that I'm going to color in this bright red color. And that's because I'm doing very simple coloring with a very simple scene. But that doesn't mean that your card can't be something special if you apply the things that you already know. So like I'm using the rule of thirds there with that red. Wagon, kite, the little heart on his collar. And so like that creates that visual triangle. And then I'm going to also use, even though it's simple colors, I'm going to use the same colors in the color family. So there's like some continuity there. So I'm using the blue with the blue sky and the collar. There's the 3 there. And then the yellow that's in the kite, I'm going to carry on through the leaves so that they blend together. Just when you're picking colors that you're blending, make sure that the number on the end matches somewhat the number you're trying to blend to. So I have like a Y08 and a YG17. I have a YR15 and an R35. They both end in 5. The other ones both end in 7. 5 is relatively close to 7. Everybody will make friends. I have to get back to this story. There's not going to be time. So anyway, we would have chores, and my sister she's my middle sister, but she's older than me. I'm the baby of the family. And she would negotiate with me. So she would be like, if you clean the family room this time, next week I'll clean the family room and the living room and do the bathrooms. But like she never did. Like I continually made these deals with her and she just continually rooked me. I mean, I just like I always believed her when she said she would do it. I just always did. And then I would complain to my parents that she didn't do what she said she was going to do, and they would be like, "Stop making deals with her. What is the matter with you?" And it's funny, like growing up, because I'm sure I was probably like the most annoying kid sister because I was super high energy and I just always wanted to be where she was. So like her girlfriends would come over and they would be like playing school in the basement and I would be like, but I want to play school. And then I would just be everywhere that she was. I probably just drove her crazy. Most of the time she let me hang out with her though. Until I got old enough that I was like, I don't want to hang out with you anymore. And now we're older and I want to hang out with her again. So that's a joy of siblings, I think. You go through these weird stages in which you fight all the time, you argue all the time. We definitely did. 3 girls in one house with 1 telephone and 1 television, if that will paint a picture for you. And I am old enough that we had the corded phone for quite some time before we got a cordless. And even then, because there were like 3 of us, the cordless phone would die. The battery would just kick the bucket, and then you'd have to get the corded phone. And we had like a half bath that was close enough to the kitchen that you would stretch the cord from the kitchen wall to the bathroom door so that you could close the bathroom door and have some privacy, while you were like talking to your little boyfriend or whatever you were doing. Which is wonderful in theory, except for that bathroom door was hollow, and I'm sure my parents could still hear every word we were saying. Things you don't think about when you are a child. So anyway, back to this coloring. I did use 3 colors for my bear, but I used only the lightest color for his snout and his belly, and then I added shading by putting that same color where I wanted it to be darker. So these markers are buildable. Since they are transparent, you can keep adding the same color over itself and it will continually get darker. So for this one up here, I decided I wanted to make him gray, and I was giving him little spots, except for I decided to give him little spots on his legs, which is also where I had the green. And then I realized that wasn't going to work. And the only part I hadn't covered yet was his arm. So he's got like a spot on the side of his face, one white ear, a spot over his eye, and a spot on his arm. That's all this guy's got going on. I'm using that C5 to add a little bit of shading into the gray areas, and then blending that back out with the C3. It's the same thing that I did with the bear with the E57 and E59. I did feel like a lot of the 59 got covered up, so I had to go back in and just add a little bit more shading. I'm going to outline everything because I love my bold black outline. You know that's true. And then I added just a couple of little details, and this is, again, another way that you can make a very simply colored card. Kind of had a little extra oomph is by adding those like white gel details and things like that. I stamped the sentiment. I apologize. My camera was on pause and I didn't realize it, which was just basically a hi and a hello. They have all these cute little bubble things that you can put in there, and I chose the two because this made more sense to me. One doing work, one flying a kite. Like, it would be nice if they just said hello to each other. And then that's pretty much the whole card. So don't forget to head over and check out that flash sale. It's only until tomorrow evening. I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye.